my dad already knowing that I say growth to everything. It's like, no, all right, try. Don't just say growth and not have anything. And then he tried it and he was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, Jack. It's actually bad.
G'day everyone and welcome to the Improv Sensation. This is a podcast where we discuss random topics and ideas, and we also play some fun improv games at the end of the episode. My name is William Butler. I am a handsome, lovely man who does YouTube, filmmaking, and that's my Tinder profile right there. Okay, so I am here with my magnificent co-host, Jack Morgan.
Hello and welcome to the Improv Sensation, of course. I am the co-host, Jack Morgan, and today we will be going into our weirdest childhood moments. Would you like to expand on that, Will?
So dumb childhood moments. Moments in our childhood where we were obviously dumb, where we did stupid things, just like adolescent behavior, random stupid things that might have hurt ourselves, others, or like our soul, where our parents maybe weren't angry, but just disappointed. But before we get into the topic, I guess, we have the ritual that we do here before the topic, which is Prequel Original Conversing. Yeah, so how have you been doing, Jack?
I've been doing pretty well. I think I literally spoke about having COVID in the last episode, so I won't touch on that now.
Yeah.
But, back to university now. It's been pretty chill. Got some new units that I'm doing, including stat, which is terrifying. At the moment, it's easy, but I'm sure it's definitely going to ramp up and get a lot harder.
What is stat again?
I was literally looks into like survey sampling techniques and stuff, and like how to analyze data and like statistical modeling and everything, and like using computer code to map out graphs and everything.
Wow,
all that kind of stuff.
That sounds fun, but also makes me want to sleep in for like 8 hours in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, I guess if you enjoy that class, like, have you had that class yet?
Yes, I have. I had 2 classes last week, which they weren't too bad. But really, this stat class is a prerequisite for some of the other units I'll be doing in the following years.
Okay.
Which have to do with like wildlife surveying and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of necessary, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. How about you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm officially on holiday now. My holiday is slightly longer than yours. It's about a month.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt sorry for you when I found out you had COVID, but then you only had like 2 weeks of holiday. It's like, oh, that's going to bite into all of your holiday. So
yeah, so I had about a week left. By the end.
Not much has been happening. I edited the last episode of the podcast, which was just absolutely massive. Like, I know we hadn't done an episode of the podcast in a while because of that big break, and we wanted to give you guys a bit of like a bigger episode of more content. But I want that to just be the biggest episode, and that's the limit that we go up to because my wrists are sore after editing all that. Recent news. We were talking about this before the podcast. As we're recording this a couple of days ago, Minecraft YouTuber and content creator Technoblade passed away from stage 4 cancer, which was shocking news to all of us because, like, we knew that he was battling cancer. He almost became an amputee at one point. But yeah, it was shocking news, and like everyone on the internet doing their condolences, and just like I think, Mojang, on their launcher, they had a Minecraft pig there, and they put a crown on that Minecraft pig.
Yeah.
Because, like, Technoblade's skin in Minecraft is obviously a king pig. So
I'm so glad that they're all recognizing and paying some sort of nice, condolence tribute to him. Very sad moment for the Minecraft community. And, we'll definitely push forward with Technoblade in our hearts, as Technoblade never dies.
Technoblade never dies. He's probably up there in heaven in like creative mode, or he's like 1v1ing like all the gods, like you just said.
Oh yeah,
Jack.
Yeah. Just taking down God and Jesus and everyone, like, haha, I'm going to be the ruler now.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Technoblade. We will be remembering you. You will never die. Not much else news, so do we want to get straight into the episode?
Okay, yeah, sorry, that took a bit of a heavy turn, but yes, good to pay respects. Okay, so childhood moments Do you have any that you'd like to jump straight into?
I guess I could just kick off with one and see where that goes. As a kid, I guess a lot of people have this experience wherever you have like dinner or some type of food that you don't like as a kid, but then your parents are like, no, you've got to eat this. You got to have like your veggies before you can have like ice cream or whatever. And there was this particular dinner, I don't think it was like porridge. I can't remember what it was.
Oh, sloppy porridge.
But it was a type of dinner that I was just like, oh, I'm not going to have all of this. Like, I know that it's kind of worth it that there's a treat at the end, but if there's some way that I can get around eating it and get straight to eating sweets, then that would be good. So I came up with a tactical plan. While we were all eating dinner, I would ask my parents if I would go to the bathroom, and I would take my dinner with me and say, well, I will continue eating while after I've washed my hands down there, and I'll come back and like have an empty plate. And they were like, yeah, okay, well that's fine. Like to me, it was like they couldn't care less, and I was like, yes, my plan is working. And to them, they're probably like, oh no, he's probably going to put it down the sink or whatever. It's like he's probably going to throw away. So I went down to the bathroom with my plate. In the bathroom, there's like this tall window. And I figured out a couple of weeks ago, before that point, that I could open like the screen window thing. Like I could unlatch it and take it all the way out. Like for me, like back then, like I didn't have a lot of strength, so it probably took me like 10 minutes to figure out how to take it out and like then put it back up. But then I took that out, and outside the window is like those pump things. So like one of those are there, and there's a gap in between that and the wall, and I just dump all of the food in that gap. So like it's the opposite end of the house, so no one would really go there. So I put that there, I scrape it off. No, like I keep a couple of food on there so that when I like put the window thing back and I walk back, it's like I eat those last few bites that I left there intentionally on there, so like the parents wouldn't know. It's like, well, he was just eating his food. That's correct. So I got away with like eating all of that food, which was probably healthy for me, but as I was a kid, I was like, ugh, that's disgusting, ew. But I did the strategy 2 more times. The second time, it worked like a charm, but I think they were getting suspicious of me. So the third time that I did it, they still let me do it, and I went there, I took the screen off of the window, and then instead of doing it in between the pump and the wall, there's a little path that goes next to it, and on the center of this path is kind of like a grate thing, like a little vent. Like usually when it's like flooding, like the water kind of goes there and it can go into like a water system or whatever. So I kind of get out of the window and I go over there. I rip out the vent, put it in there, and the thing is, it's not like a deep hole, it's literally like a head like depth. But yeah, I put it down there, I put the thing back on, and then I do the whole charade, go back in, have some food on my plate. And the next day I wake up, I have breakfast, and then I'm doing my thing, like maybe on the computer, I'm playing some games. And then my parents call me, and they're like, William, you gotta come around to the back of the house with us. And I go around with my parents, and there is just an army of ants surrounding the vent. And there's just food like everywhere, and it smells so bad. Like I hadn't like gone to that part of the house like after I had put the food down there like initially, and there was also ants coming out from behind that pump thing with all the food there, because they probably didn't go behind there each time after I'd done it, but then they did, and it's just worse this time because there's so many ants. And they're like, well, you did this, you're gonna clean it up. And I was just such a baby when I was like that age, and I was like, I don't want to touch the ants, it's disgusting. It's like, well, you did this to yourself, so you're gonna bloody do it. So I have to get like a plastic shopping bag, then I can have to scoop it up, and then I got like a week's punishment after that. But yeah, did you do anything like that?
I mean, I don't think I ever did anything to that scale. And I can just imagine, your parents going, oh, I'm so proud of my boy. He's going to eat his vegetables on the toilet. Oh man, what a grown boy. He's going to become a great man when he grows up.
I would have loved if that was their reaction, but then they find it, and then it's literally the opposite. It's like, this guy's going to prison. He's going straight to hell, the sins that he's committed.
So I definitely, as a kid, I was a very picky eater. I never chucked away food like that, but I was always one of those people that before even trying it or putting in a tiny, like nibbling the edge off of something and going,
Yeah.
yuck, I don't like it. Um, and I distinctly remember one time we were having the soup, and we're all going sitting down at the table. I'm the first to sit down, and I take a big mouthful of soup because back then I liked soup more than I do now, I suppose.
Nice.
Um, and I had a bite, and I went, "Oh my God, that's disgusting." And obviously, my dad, already knowing that I say gross to everything as a kid, he was like, "No, all right, try. Don't just say gross and not have anything." And then he tried it, and he was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Jack. It's actually bad." That was like the one time the food I had was actually gross.
Like father, like son. Love that.
It's kind of like the boy who cried wolf, because because I used to say I don't like food all the time. But yeah, that was a funny moment.
What's another moment? Do you want to go next? Do you want to have another memory to kick it off, I guess?
Okay, all right, yep. So this one's kind of embarrassing. And, I think many kids growing up at a young age, they, either missay or misinterpret words. But I've got a couple. So as a kid, I used to think, it was only for a short amount of time, I used to think that the word condom meant kebabs. And I think I actually got this from an episode of Top Gear where for some reason when I heard the word condom, for some reason in my head I thought, that's the kebab food where you get a long stick and you put whatever you want on it. So
yeah, of course.
And I think
obviously.
And I actually think I said something about it to my dad after watching that episode, and then he corrected me straight away. So at least I didn't actually say it to anybody else.
Good,
It was
good.
one of those things as a kid where you're like, is that what that word means? I should say that now. And then it turns out to be completely wrong.
Yes, I've definitely had situations like that. There was probably these pop songs back in the 2000s, and this one song was talking about like dancing around in your birthday suit, and I didn't know as a kid that meant like nudity. Like it didn't mean like any clothes.
I didn't know that either. Yeah.
So I was literally talking with my sister or whatever, and then I bring up that phrase. I don't know what the conversation was, but I bring up that phrase, and she's like, "William, don't say that." And I'm like, "Okay, but what does it mean?" And she's like, "Well, it means no clothes." And I'm like, "Oh, well, shit."
They call it a suit. Oh my
But
God.
yeah, you said you had a couple other words, I guess?
Yeah, so these weren't misinterpretations of the meaning, but these were words that I didn't know, that I thought I was saying correctly, but I wasn't saying them right. One which keeps getting brought up is whenever we would go and get the car serviced or anything, and we would go to the mechanics, I would say, let's go to the panic.
Okay,
So,
no, yeah.
Let's go down to the panics.
Let's go down to the panics.
Let's go. And it took me, I think that word took me a while. I was probably like 5 or 6 at the time, but it took me a while to actually say it correctly. And every time I would say it, they'd correct me, and I'd still say it wrong after. And they'd be like, okay, panic. And they go, no, Jack, mechanic. And I still say panic.
Imagine one time you just go in to service your car, and then you're on the phone. It's like, all right, I'm here on panic. And then someone who's on the other side of the phone is like, okay, calm down. Where are you? I'll go get some help. Call 911.
And another one was ambulance, but I don't know how I said it wrong. I just know that I did say ambulance wrong.
Ambulance.
Ambulance? Yeah. I think I said it ambulance.
Ambulance.
Yeah, I didn't say the Yule. I just went ambulance.
Oh yeah, that's
which is kind of correct, but it's not
I
as
get
bad
that.
as panic.
That's a whole different word.
Yeah.
I guess another word that I got incorrect just like you did was utensils, like your knife and fork that you have with dinner. I always called it utensils because I knew the word like stenciling, like drawing or whatever. And every time I would be like, "Oh, utensils, come get your utensils." And everyone would be like, "Ha ha ha, you loser, you nerd." It's a running joke in my family now. So whenever we need to get a knife and fork, someone will be saying "Oh, come and get your utensils," and I'm like, "Ha ha."
Yep.
I guess for another memory, did you ever, whenever you got like a phone or a device or a game or whatever, did you ever take that to, like, I guess to bed, and you were playing it under the covers when you should have been going to like sleep or whatever?
No, I never had that issue.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't. Okay, I didn't get my first phone until year seven. Even then, I didn't even play games on it because I was a bit anti-device when I was young. A little bit weird, actually, to be fair.
Okay.
I didn't have any handheld gaming consoles or anything. We had an Xbox. Obviously, you can't take that into your bed with you.
Just have a
It
whole
wasn't in my
TV
room either.
screen there and a console right under your
Yeah, just
arm. And
take
you
up all this stuff with you. I'm guessing you did that.
I didn't have any consoles, which is basically the opposite of you, but I did, from my sister, after she got a bit older, get a 2DS. Because,
Oh, very nice.
she had a 2DS for a bunch of years, and she had a few games. And she was like, you know what? You're old enough. You don't have anything to, like, play on yourself except for the family computer. Why don't you have this DS? And I was like, oh, man, this is so cool. This is so amazing.
Hey, were there any Pokemon games?
No. I
Pokemon?
didn't have any Pokemon games.
Okay.
Well, that's because that's the thing. Like, I wanted to get a bunch more games, but the thing is, this was around the time where the 3DS was getting a lot more popular than the 2DS. So whenever I went to EB Games to try and look for 2DS games, there would be this whole wall of 3DS games and some of the coolest games ever. But there was this one time where I went to like EB Games and there was this bargain section, a section that was on sale, like 70% off of stuff. And there was this one game, it was Scooby-Doo. And I was like, holy cow, that's so cool. And so I bought that. It was only like $10. It was like priced down from like, what was it, like 40, $50? I can't remember. I played that so much and I was addicted when I'd go to bed and everyone would put their light out, and it's supposed to be my bedtime. I would get my DS, put the volume all the way down to the lowest setting, even though it's still freaking loud. And then whenever I can hear parent walking down like the hallway of our house, I silently click, close it down, and then I would shove it under my mattress. And then I would roll over slowly, and then they wouldn't realize because it was like I was just a mastermind. But then there was this one time, of course, where I didn't hear them sneak like down into my room because they were being quiet because they thought that we were asleep. But like I had my DS, I was playing it, and then I just hear from behind me, and then I slowly move my head, and I'm slowly closing my DS at the same time. Like, I'm still like a spy. Like, I'm still acting like they still haven't seen me. And I see them in the doorway. And, like, I'm in trouble. I get another week, of work and stuff.
I mean, to be fair, in more recent years, I go to bed listening to music, checking messages and emails and stuff. So I guess I do that a lot more now than I would have before. Yeah, just as a kid, I didn't have those devices as a kid. I just all through primary school, didn't have any of those devices. I think my first actual device was an iPad.
Yeah.
For year seven as well. When I got my phone, it was literally to call if I needed help with anything, like if I was stuck at school, which I did miss the bus one time, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, that's for a future
But yeah,
episode.
like didn't have technology, and I didn't complain about it either. I just kind of wasn't introduced to it all, and I didn't play on my computer, or I didn't have a computer. My dad had a computer, but he didn't let me use it. So I just didn't have that technology as a kid, and I didn't know any different really. Oh, and I do want to just clarify to all of you listening. Yes, I was allowed to eventually play Minecraft and a couple of other games on my dad's laptop once I reached year seven again. So later on, but like as a young kid, no games. So
really,
it's not like I was completely starved of all games. But yeah, just to clarify, I was allowed at one point. But yeah.
All right, your turn.
Okay, so I've got a couple in mind. One of them is way more embarrassing than the first one. So the first one, have you ever put coins and stuff down the toilet and tried to flush it and they don't flush?
What?
Yeah.
I've occasionally done the random button sometimes, or like I put a leaf in there. Like I never put coins down.
It was a one-time thing, really. but I think I did put a couple of stones into the toilet too. Just
What?
like small pebbles, small pebbles. I wanted to see if they'd flush. It was like an experiment kind of thing where I was like, this is like a weighty object. I wonder if it will flush. So I put a 50-cent coin in the toilet, pressed the flush. It didn't flush. So it just sat there in the bottom of the toilet. And then later my parents saw it and were like, hey Jack, did you put this coin in the toilet? And I was like, nah, I didn't do that. I must have fell out of your pocket or something.
Good excuse.
But they knew it was me. They knew it was me. So they had to scoop it out.
Oh, no, that I wouldn't have done that. I would have just left it there.
Yeah. So that was one. But I guess do you want to say your thing and then I'll say my most embarrassing thing after that?
Mm-hmm,
If you've got another one? Okay.
I guess this one is a bit embarrassing because I guess the year in primary school, which I was a bit of a jackass, I was just, the most troublesome was like year 2, I believe, where I would just randomly like push someone or hit them in the eye or punch them, or like, I think there was one time, I believe, where I think I flashed someone with my peen.
Wait, including, okay, was this underwear or like skin?
I think it was both. Like I did it once with like
okay.
underwear. It's like, hey, check this out. What? I don't know why I did it.
Oh my god!
It's like, whoa, it's so big. And then I did it a second time, and then I did show the junk. Then I got in trouble. I got sent to the principal's office, and funnily enough, the principal is my dad. Because
Son, you've been a bad boy.
You've been a bad boy. Get over here. If any of you didn't know, my dad was a principal at the primary school that I went to. Yes, that was that. That was very embarrassing, and I do remember for a bunch of years I was doing random things. Like that's the thing when you're a kid, whatever action you do, you don't think that there is consequences. So then, like I would do something random just because, like I wouldn't have an actual reason. I remember I was walking, like you were probably there, with like a group of friends, like along the road. Like a couple of them were arguing for some reason, and it was a rainy day that day, so I had my umbrella with me. So I kind of look over and I'm like, you know what? No. And I just extend it out and I kind of like hit one of the guys in the eye. I don't know. I just swing it and it hits him in the eye. And then I'm the one in trouble and I'm the one that everyone's arguing about. And I'm just like, well, I just stopped the argument. Why are you like arguing with me?
No.
What's going on? It's like, this is not how it's supposed to go. And like teachers come over, it's like, what did you do? It's like, oh, it hit me in the eye. It's like, William, why did you? Just this whole thing. And just because I'm like, you know what? Fuck that. No, just stop it. Like,
I was trying to do my part, okay? Leave me alone.
Exactly.
You see, this guy had a bug in his eye. I was trying to swat it with my umbrella. He moved and it got him right in the middle. I was like, oh.
It's not my fault this guy's face went directly into my fist. It's not my fault that he was in my
face was there.
Yes.
If he wasn't there, he wouldn't have been hit.
Exactly. So it should be his fault. Get him in trouble.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's hilarious. I remember one time, I don't know why I did it. I think I hit or punched someone. Maybe it was kind of playful, but it was like we were in the toilet and we were talking, and then for some reason I think I punched him or something. Afterwards, I was really apologetic. But he said, right, I'm going to tell on you, as you do. It's like, I'm going to tell on you now. And he, starts walking out. And I'm walking out behind him going, please don't tell on me. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Like, I was so traumatized, not because I punched him, but because I didn't want to get in trouble.
Yes, exactly.
It was just like the worst thing. I was like, no, it's going to spell my doom. I'm going to be executed and punished.
I thought that story was going to end and like he would be walking out and then you just do like a roundhouse punch again. It's like, no, don't walk out. And then you just hit him
It just
again.
resulted in me getting incredibly apologetic, and I didn't stop until we got in the same direction as the teacher, looking at us walking over.
Yeah.
And then
Oh
well. I don't think I got in severe trouble because it wasn't a heavy punch, I don't think, but it was still like, all right, you're coming with me, boy. You're going to walk by the side of me now.
Come with me, boy. Come to my farm. You're going to help out with some wheat here.
I remember another time this is crazy. I'm probably a savage, but I remember biting someone.
Oh, Lord, what?
I think it was like year 1, so I would have been really young too at that time.
A young Mike Tyson.
young Mike Tyson. But yeah, again, I can't remember the context in which I did it. I think I probably was aggravated. I didn't do it just randomly out of nowhere. I think I was aggravated a little bit. And I don't think I had ever done anything like that before, but I just bit him. Like I didn't think about it really. I don't really recall it too well, but I just remember that I did bite him. And I was like, huh, that happened. And then once again, I was incredibly apologetic afterwards. And I was like, oh no, I'm so sorry. I don't know. It's like it's like I'm the type of person to get angry and then kind of whack someone and then just be so sorry afterwards and be like, please, I'll do anything. But
I would love to see you in a
haven't...
boxing match to see how you turn out.
I'll slap him once and be like, oh no, please forgive me, and then he beats the hell out of me.
Or it's the other scenario, you knock him out in the first punch, and it's like, oh, I'm sorry, and he's just, like, unconscious, so he can't hit you.
Yeah, but don't worry, I haven't showed any acts of aggression since those times, and this was, like, year one kindergarten, so I was, like, really young and a bit stupid. So I'm a very nice and polite guy now. I would never, ever show physical or verbal acts of violence or, aggression in any way. Yeah, so, yeah. Fun times.
It's tricky to remember. I should have planned this, actually. Oh, no. I do remember there was this one time where we went to this, it was like a treetop adventure thing. There were a bunch of ropes and platforms in the tree, like tall, like pine trees. You would hook on with like a harness and then you would go along and then you could like jump onto nets and something like that. I was 10 at this time. And I do remember they strictly said, it's like, do not unhook it when you're like, because we had 2 hooks on our harness so that we would stay connected to our like the old part and then clip onto the new section. And then I remember one time where for like a fraction of a second I unclip both, so I'm just standing there. It's like a big platform. It's not like a small edge and then I could just fall to my death or whatever. It's like a big platform. I'm surrounded by, like, I'm in between 2 people, so they would be able to help me out. But then I just do that, and then I clip onto the new section. This fucking guy, picks me out, and it's like, right, you're going off. You're not staying, like, on this thing. So he takes me all the way down, and I have to just wait for, like, half an hour when the rest of my family and friends are still doing the thing. And I'm like, what did I do? I literally just, like, because I was confident at this point, like, as a kid, But, like, I was confident to be able to, like, unhook and get a new thing. And they're like, right, you're a youngin'. You're not doing the rest of it. You're going down.
Yeah.
I can't remember much. Oh, I do remember one story. This is a pretty good story, but I will let you go if you have one.
All right, I'll say the big one. The big embarrassing one. So as a kid, we lived out on a farm, fair bit of property, and I do remember needing the toilet badly, and so I ended up like squatting, and and it wasn't just number ones, it was number twos as well.
Good mixture.
and I remember, I don't think I covered it up as such, but I remember leaving it there, and then my dad found out. And he asked me, did you, do your business out the back? And I was like, no, it must have been a wallaby. I think I literally said, I think my excuse was, I think it must have been a wallaby or something. And then I remember him saying, it must have been a very big wallaby.
Like, I can imagine that after you've done this and then you're in your bedroom, you're like doing whatever. And then like just before you go to bed, like, that your dad's going to be outside like the next day. And you're thinking, oh crap, what's my cover-up story? What am I going to say in case he finds it? And then you just go through all of your nature books and you look for like the biggest thing, and the one that looks like it could be in your farm area, I guess. And then you go, and then you see that, and it's like, all right, good. I got to remember that name. That name. I would love that.
Yeah. This was before I even went to school as well. So I was, again, very, very young at this point. But it's just one of those things, being out on a farm, you think nobody will know. But then, of course, my dad had to go around to that exact area and find it. So, yeah, pretty embarrassing.
I would think, wouldn't there be a lot of poo on a farm? Or was it a type of farm where you didn't have a lot of animals that crapped?
We had cattle, but they obviously do humongous turds of immense proportions. They're more like cakes, mug cakes, really.
Oh, wow.
Like, you know how they're like big, just large, round domes of black mass.
Yeah.
It's just on the ground.
Big hubs for all the flies that come together.
Yeah, obviously our dung is not the same as their dung, so it's a bit easy to tell apart.
All right, so for mine, I was a pretty big liar when I was a kid. And then my parents would obviously know if I was lying or not. I've gotten better at it over the years. No, I'm not. I shouldn't say that. No, I'm truthful. I'm a truthful person. But when I was a kid, I was honing the skill of lying and seeing if I can get away with stuff. The more things that I got away with, the less effort that had to be put into whatever. Like obviously with the story of me throwing away the dinner, but with this one, sometimes I would go to school with snacks in my lunchbox, and I wouldn't eat them. And then my mother or my dad or whatever would always ask if I hadn't eaten them, like, "Oh, why didn't you eat this?" And then I would say like, "I didn't feel like it." And then they would be like, "All right, well, you're gonna have all of this dinner, no dessert." But then there was this one time, instead of being like, "I just didn't feel like it," I told them, "Our teacher in our class, that lady, didn't let us go to recess and eat our food. So we didn't get to eat any of our food today." And I thought my mum would be like, "Oh, okay, well, I guess we'll give you some nice food to eat now. You can have your lunchbox now, whatever." But no, she was like, "All right, well, there's still time in the day, and I don't think the teacher has gone home just yet." So she got me in the car, and we went to the school to ask the teacher what happened. So it was so embarrassing, and I just remember sitting in the classroom. Like, mum asks like, "Oh, did this happen?" And just before the teacher could say, I was like, okay, I lied. It was just like, she was not mad, she was just disappointed.
Just disappointed.
It's such a crushing moment, but that's what I get for lying. And why would I come up with that kind of lie? Like obviously, like, she could like go and contact the teacher because she's a parent. She has contact with teachers.
Yeah. Oh God, that's painful. I can feel it. Like I feel tense now. I'm like, God damn it! Like the one time you come up with a good lie, they find it so serious that they actually go and investigate further.
I guess before we go into the improv game, if you have any more, if you have any advice to give to our young listeners, if they're out there.
Well, I mean, I think just for some general advice to wrap this bit up, I think it is necessary for everyone to kind of go through that young phase where you're allowed to mess up and then get into a little bit of trouble here and there, unless you're committing arson or something really bad. You're allowed to get into trouble and play around and get a feel for everything, and how society works, you might say. But I don't know, as long as you know right from wrong, and you can learn from your lessons, then that is a win. So I think we both won this round.
Yeah, exactly. We won this podcast episode.
Yeah.
But I guess to touch on like learning the rules of society and becoming a better person, one quick thing that I'll touch on, I guess all kids experience it, but I guess for us, it was a particular thing. During our period in primary school, like there would be particular offensive words, which weren't like the big ones, like the F word or the S word or whatever, but then we wouldn't know like what type of impact it would have because we would just say it. Like sometimes we would say a word to try and make our friends laugh or something. Like I know during a period in primary school, like the word gay would come up a lot. It's like, "Oh, last one there is gay," or like, "Oh, if you don't get this bottle flip, if you don't do that, you're gay." Like, I don't think there was a specific point where I kind of like learnt about like bisexual, gay, and the different type of things like that. I was kind of acceptant, like, "Oh, okay, so there's people that kind of like these people or whatever." It's not like an outrage kind of thing. Like, what? It's something different than male and female? This doesn't make sense. But it's the type of thing where it's a word which is completely offensive and could hurt people, and it's taken a lot more of a stronger meaning these days. Like if you use kind of that phrase, like, "Oh, if you die, you're gay," or something like that, then people will be onto that person like, "Why would you say that?" But yeah, those type of things people have grown out of, and they kind of understand, just like you said.
I think to summarize what you were saying, it's more like we say words that we've heard to get a reaction out of people, but we don't understand the exact connotation of what they mean, So I think that's a very good, very good point to end this section of the episode on. So
Yes.
if we would like to now dive into our improv for the end of the podcast, do you know what this game will be?
For this game, actually for this one, why don't you pick this one? Because I've been usually picking them.
Oh no. Well, oh.
Like I have one in mind, but in case you wanted to do one in particular.
No. Tell me, Will. What? Come on, tell me. The audience won't know. Tell me.
Okay. I'm thinking of like conversation with characters. Do you want me to explain? Like you announce it, and then I'll explain.
Okay,
this?
all right.
Like you already know.
They won't know.
Okay, all right, go.
Okay, so this improv game that we'll be playing today is conversations with characters.
Yes,
that's right.
Yes,
Yay.
that's it.
Okay.
Is basically you're having a regular conversation, and we will find a random fictional character generator online. Each time that the opposite person brings up a question, we have to answer that question in the character. So like if you get like Gandalf, you have to act like Gandalf while you're answering the question. So like let's say you get Gandalf in your generator, and my question is, what did you do on the weekend?
I defeated the dragon in the castle.
So yeah, basically it's just like that, but like more specific to the question. So
that was a very bad impersonation.
All right, so just give us a moment. We'll find a generator, and then we'll get into the improv game. Alright, so we looked around the internet for some generators, and the internet wasn't really helpful. They only showed us make up your own characters or cartoon characters. So we decided to just pick our own and just do that. So we've got 3 characters each, a bunch of questions that we'll ask each other, and we'll see how hilarious or depressing this is. Alright, so who wants to ask the question first?
I want you to interview me.
Hello, friend. I hope you are doing good. I hope you're having a good time this weekend. I just wanted to ask you, just because I was curious, what do you think about the new prices in fuel?
By the way, I'm Voldemort for the first character. I should just clarify. I'll be acting as Voldemort.
Could another thing of just our audio listeners could have just been guessing what our characters were. But I guess that's a good hint. That's a good hint for the first one.
Yeah, okay.
For the rest, we won't tell you.
Okay. Yes. The fuel prices, they've been going up so high lately. It is draining my power. I must come up with a spell to bring them back down again and take over the fuel industry.
Well, that's interesting. That's very interesting. But yeah, do you have any questions for me, Voldemort?
What do you do with your wand?
My wand I do. A lightsaber master. Wand I do not. Alone, usually I am. Magic I am not. Force I do.
What is this force you speak of?
Magic this is. Life binds together everything.
This is. I'm losing the voice. Shit.
That's really good though.
Yes, the force surrounds us, it does. But yes, I have a question. I do. You think what of education Australia it is?
I will personally say that all students in Australia...
No, wait. You're supposed to change to a new character.
Oh, sorry.
It's like, why is Voldemort still in the room?
You won't get rid of me.
What do you think of the education Australia this is?
Vengeance. We must.
No, yes, good. It's go on.
That is what I think of the Australia's school system. We must enact vengeance on everyone.
Vengeance, you say?
We must let students learn in a more sophisticated and organized schooling system. And we will free students from a bad schooling system.
Well, vengeance leads to hate, hate leads to anger, anger leads to suffering. So I do not know your plan. It is good.
Oh my god, that is so good.
I love it, man.
Okay. Sorry, I can't get over it. What do you do at night? Do you have vengeance on anyone?
Ah, yes. My plan, that is simple as it is, but complex at the same time. Vengeance is a key part that I will play upon the city of Gotham. But I know that vengeance will overtake me if I let it get in my way. So I let it ruin other people that come in my way, just like you, Batman, or should I say, Bruce Wayne.
Who is this Bruce Wayne you speak of? I'll bite you, I will. I'll bite you.
Ah, yes, but Batman, or whoever you are behind the mask there, what do you do at the end of the day when you are not doing work?
I'm invincible. I will go to the park and I will stand at the bridge and I will say, none shall pass.
No, you are not Gandalf. This is not what you are supposed to be doing.
No.
Don't you do something relaxing after work?
No. Then they shall die. None shall pass.
None shall pass?
Yes.
Interesting. But what if I shoot you in the leg? What about then? Will you go home and rest?
No, 'tis but a scratch.
What about the other leg? What if you've run out of legs?
'Tis a flesh wound.
I think the audience gets what this is now.
Yeah.
Do you have any question for me, Black Knight?
Haven't you? Ah, yes. How would you defeat your enemy?
My precious. It's important to me, my precious is precious. Yes. I would beat them with stones. And I would goat. And
Goat? Wait, what?
and I would hit them.
That's Yoda now. What am I doing?
And I would hit them. Yes, precious. Yes. I would hit them till the skull breaks down in half. And the gooey brain comes out, precious. But what about this fine man? There's some injury. No, precious, no. We can't trust this man. No, we can't take precious to him. But he seems very nice. No, precious. But I have one last question for you. Are you subscribed to this podcast?
Yes, I have.
Good.
Yes, I have. Ah.
End scene.
Okay.
I kind of fell apart at the end there. You did very well with your characters.
No, you are way better at doing the voices than I am because I'm out of practice. But I have to say that Yoda and Gollum, they were very good.
Thanks. I love doing the Yoda one. That's good. Bane's kind of easy to do. You just cover your mouth and talk and like a weird.
Oh, I suppose we're giving away our characters now.
Yes. So for the audience, if you've been guessing along and if you got them correct, then good for you because we're talking about it now. But yeah, so my characters were Yoda, Bane, and Gollum, and yours were, I believe, Voldemort?
Voldemort, Batman, and the Black Knight from Monty Python. I have to say, the last, my Black Knight and Batman weren't as good because apart from their kind of overall character, they really have kind of ordinary voices, apart from Batman, which is deep and ooh. I'm vengeance.
Yes, I'm Batman. I'm
vengeance.
But I did like how you did it with the Black Knight one, and you just steered it towards what he would say.
Yeah, there's really nothing else that he says. Yeah.
We both did very well. So basically, this episode was a draw, and I think it was a good episode.
I enjoyed this one, yeah.
Thank you so much for listening or watching wherever you are. Make sure to subscribe or follow the podcast wherever you're listening to this. If you want to check out Jack, he is, of course, here for the podcast. He does... Used to do, nature enthusiast stuff on the Nature Enthusiast channel on YouTube.
Yep. Oh, I was just going to say, let me know if you think I should boot up a new channel or maybe continue the Nature channel. I think the Nature channel's just inactive now. I don't know if I'll go back to that. But, if you think I should start another channel, feel free to let me know. I may or may not. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
Any final words before we sign out?
Don't forget to to brush your teeth.
Don't do drugs.
Stay in school.
Yeah, and love your mum because that's important.
And your
Unless you're motherless.
Equal love.
Bring up.
love for all.
Yeah.
Love everybody.
Okay. All right. So
Bye.
Thank you everyone, and yes, improv out.
Improv out.